Welcome to World Transits Today. I'm Art Granoff. Connect with me at referenceastrology.com. And today I'm going to show the December 2024 World Transits in archetypal astrology. November 30th, the new moon, Sun conjunct moon, happens every month. The Alpha and the Omega, the new moon. Today, I'm going to get started showing some of the basic concepts and ideas behind archetypal astrology. This is Stan's map of the unconscious right here. Ordinary ego consciousness up top, personal unconscious, full of our memories from youth, growing up, etc. Then perhaps we take some psychedelics or do some breath work, some powerful method to go deep within us. With our eyes closed, we may find ourselves in the realm of the four BPMs, BPM 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you're not familiar with them, here they are. Discovered by Stan Grof in the 1960s in Czechoslovakia after interviewing thousands of people after their LSD sessions. And many of them explained to Stan that they had four distinct type experiences. And through hearing many of them and through time, Stan realized that people were talking about reliving their birth. And he had the same experience in his sessions. And here we go. Here they are. The first matrix, everything's okay. You're in the womb. Everything's fine. Everything's flowing. No problem. The second matrix, the cosmic oppression. Things are not okay anymore. Things are not fine. We're stuck. We're frustrated. We can't move. Every time mom breathes, we're crushed up against her. Big problem, frustration. The third matrix, the death rebirth struggle, when the impossible happens and intensity appears and mother's body develops and grows, finds a way to shoot us out, expel us to victory, the death rebirth experience. So, in the womb, everything's okay. We're leaving the womb, everything's not okay. Everything's really intense. And then pop, we made it. Everything's okay. We're fine. In the United States, Stan's student, Richard Tarnas, discovered that the four basic perinatal matrices match the four outer planets in astrology. For instance, BPM 1, just hanging out in the womb, everything's okay, is similar to the planet Neptune, undifferentiated consciousness, flow, union. Then BPM 2, the cosmic oppression, being stuck, frustrated, Saturn, can't move, can't breathe, frustration, Saturn. Then BPM 3, the intensity of trying to get out, the intensity, fire, stuff going on in there, can't describe. Pluto. And then 4, the death rebirth experience, Uranus, freedom, victory, pop, we made it. Okay. So the reason I showed you all this is because in archetypal astrology, a main focus is on the four outer planets, which we can experience usually in a deep state of psychedelics or in breath work. And then if we combine the astrological information with the four BPMs, we start to understand more about our experience through the symbol system of astrology, what we couldn't understand through plain words or English. When language stops, the symbol system begins. So that's a basic idea of why we use astrology in the work with Stan Grof in the deep psychedelic or Grof breathwork states. Now, let's look at the outer planet transits, the long-term outer planet transits happening right now. We notice we've got Uranus sextile Neptune. It's a 10-year transit. Uranus, again, being BPM4 or the death rebirth experience, we're out. And Neptune, BPM1, the amniotic universe. So one could say easy access to the transcendent, Uranus and Neptune. Not too bad. Then we have Uranus trine Pluto, a 10-year transit. We go back here. We see Uranus, again, BPM4, freedom, and BPM3, Pluto, intensity. So one motif could be freedom with intensity. We also have, for 3 years in the sky, Saturn conjunct Neptune right there, from April 2022 to April 2027. And if we add the planet Jupiter, we see right now that we have Jupiter square Saturn, Jupiter square Neptune. Thus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Jupiter expands and Saturn shrinks or consolidates. So you could say that Jupiter with Saturn is successful endeavors, or Saturn can restrict. So you could say Jupiter is having trouble because is having trouble giving you success because Saturn's restricting that. Also, Jupiter with Neptune, expansion of flow, expansion of the transcendent. Or Neptune in the shadow can also be delusion. So it could be a large delusion as well. Remember, these are archetypes. The archetypes are primal forms, unlike forms that have a beginning and an end and have a left and a right and an up and a down. That's about all they got. Archetypes can be seen from many views. They can be many things at the same time. They can be positive and negative, depending on where you're at, depending on how you see them, depending on where you're at with them. So Saturn with Neptune, long-term outer planet transit. Let's go to Mars. This is a big month for the planet Mars. Mars is force. Mars is action. Mars, think of Mars as when you want something and the will to go get it. Okay. So Mars is with Pluto. We notice from October of last year, of this year, actually, from October 2024 through May of 2025. It's Mars opposite Pluto. Pluto is intensity, BPM 3. Mars is force. So when you take force and you take intensity, what do you usually get? You can get one of two things. One is a powerful performance through the arts, okay? Or Mars with Pluto usually is a lot of force and intensity. One could say, look out, here I come, as evidenced right now in the two major wars going on in Ukraine and in the Middle East. Mars opposite Pluto. We witnessed a lot of intensity in the US election. So Mars opposite Pluto, very powerful, very strong. Watch out. We also have Mars with Neptune right there. Okay. Mars trine Neptune. Mars again being force and action, and Neptune being flow, transcendent, or delusion. So on the noble side of Mars Neptune, it's moving towards wholeness. It's understanding what you got to do to achieve wholeness. Righty? And also, we have Mars with Uranus right there. Mars action with Uranus on the new thing. Okay, so if you're fired up to do something in a fresh way, in a fresh venture or subject, well, that was a good time. Mars with Uranus. And to show a few examples of Mars with Pluto, here we go. Mars with Pluto. Mars force, Pluto intensity. We've got a few people all lined up here. One is Joe Biden with Mars square Pluto in his chart. Mars square Pluto there. We have Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. He's got Mars trine Pluto. Fire signs. Pluto, Leo, Mars, Sagittarius. We've got some other players. We've got Benjamin Netanyahu with Mars conjunct Pluto. He's a real fireball, huh? We've got Anthony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, who doesn't seem to do very much because the world is all at war. He's got Mars trine Pluto again. And Mike Huckabee, you know him? He was the governor of Arkansas, and now he's the Trump appointee to be ambassador to Israel. How perfect. He's got a Mars and Pluto conjunction. He's going to do really well, I think, with Netanyahu with a Mars and Pluto conjunction. Who else we got? Let's see. We've got Zelensky. Hey, Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. Now, in his chart, okay, he's got, if you notice, Mars over there and Saturn over there, and it's a Pluto midpoint, a little wide, but it's a Pluto midpoint between Mars and Saturn. Well, that's a lot of intensity. He seems to be in hot water, doesn't seem to be cooling off. And here's his personal transit from March 2021 to January 2028. Hey, wouldn't you know it? It's Pluto opposite Mars. I mean, says it all right there. We also have Trump, Donald Trump, the new president coming in. And he's also got that Pluto midpoint between Mars and Saturn. A touch wide, perhaps, but he's got it, as evidenced by the midpoint chart right there. So Mars Pluto can be pretty intense, as evidenced by these players. And there's also a couple of okay people, or many okay people, that get to use Mars and Pluto. Here they come. One is Thich Nhat Hanh. You know him, the great Buddhist monk of peace. Mars sextile Pluto. He uses his force and intensity, initiated, dancing through his own fire to give and bring peace to the world. Did a pretty good job, I think. Kathleen Harrison, ethnobotanist with Mars sextile Pluto in her chart. You can find her at botanicaldimensions.org. Kathleen Harrison, the wife of Terence McKenna. Hey, we know him. Famous psychedelic person, visionary and speaker, who's got Pluto trine with Mars over there. Okay. So Mars with Pluto, very intense, happening till early spring. Either it's a freight train coming at you, or do some inner work, find some inner stability, and meet it where it is. That's all you got to do. Let's talk about the sun. December 2024. Looks like we've got the sun with Saturn and the sun with Neptune. Saturn solidifies and Neptune dissolves. Saturn's the bottom line, Neptune's a flow. They're opposites. Sun Saturn, identifying with the physical world. Sun Neptune, identifying with imagination. Let's add planet Jupiter. And we find we have Jupiter Saturn, okay, successfully identifying with what's solid. And we also have Jupiter Neptune identifying in a large way with what's flowing. We add the planet Mercury. We've got Mercury with Saturn. Mercury is the mind, our communicator, of our mental stuff in there. Mercury with Saturn. Saturn's a track, putting your mind on a track. Could be a professional track of some kind, could be religion of some kind, some type of system that you're engaged with. Mercury, Saturn, or a system that restricts you too much. Like maybe when you're a kid, they pump you up with religion, you don't want it. So you're out of there. We have Mercury, Neptune. Mercury, the mind, Neptune, the imagination. So if Mercury, Saturn would be concentrating on physical things, learning about law or engineering or medicine, Mercury with Neptune would be about fantasy, learning about imagination, perhaps playing music, perhaps writing poetry, dancing, anything imaginative using the mind. And Jupiter with Mercury, just granting success, good fortune. So it looks like for the inner planets party for December, we've got the sun with Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. We've got Jupiter with Saturn and Neptune. And we've got Mercury with Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. What's it going to be? This or that? 2024 through 2027. Saturn conjunct Neptune. And now let's talk about Venus. Venus is beauty, Aphrodite, personal pleasure, heart opening, aesthetics, the art gallery. So we have Venus with Uranus, Venus with Neptune, and Venus with Pluto, first half of the month. I have a couple of short poems about each one. Ready? The first one is Venus with Uranus. It's new love, Venus Uranus. They ask why by Maya Angelou. I said you had the motion of the ocean in your walk. And when you solve my riddles, you don't even have to talk. Venus Uranus. Then we have divine love, Venus Neptune, the light within, Wendell Berry. In the heart's silent whisper, a light does softly gleam, a beacon in the darkness, a guide to unseen dreams. Thank you, Wendell Berry. And we have Venus with Pluto, Dionysian love, Beauty and the Beast. With eyes undressing darkness, hearing passion's sweet melodies, the heart's transformed. I'm listening. Venus with the three outer planets. December 15th, it's the full moon, sun opposite moon. Happens every month since a long time. This month, sun opposite moon with Neptune, sun Neptune, identifying with imagination. So what's ideal? Moon Neptune, empathy, giving, compassion. At our best, sun opposite moon with Neptune, coming December 15th. And The 21st of December, got the winter solstice. The simple way to think about it is we have two equinoxes and two solstices. That makes four. We have four seasons. Remember that part? Four seasons? So, the thing to understand is December, the solstice, right there. Where we are in USA, we're going dark. The days are shorter. Yeah, they shrink. They get shorter. Then in 90 days or so, we hit March, then we have the equinox and the sun turns, okay? So the days start to get longer. In 90 days, it's June. It's the summer solstice. Now we're facing the sun and the days are longer. And then starts to shrink again. So, thanks for joining me, everybody, at World Transits Today. This is the 12th and final World Transits Today of 2024. Hope you had a great year. If you want to review any of the World Transits Today shows, look at the ANN Archetypal News Network playlist. And I put them all in World Transits Today 2024 playlists. So if you have nothing to do and take 2 hours, you can review all the transits from 2024. Look forward to seeing you in 2025. Have a great new year.